Hi everybody, this is Ellie. Thank you so much for joining me today for June's Stationery Stockpile Challenge video. This is the collab that I do with Daksina, where we invite you to use your stash and find stickers, washi, ephemera, really anything that fits in with our very loose themes. The theme for June is rainbows, and I think this is my favorite dashboard that I've made yet. That post-it that you saw was my own little cheat sheet or template. I wanted to know how many colors I was going to include so that I could figure out the center color, which is green, and I do that section first and then build outward, and I actually build inward from the corners too, so it's just a lot of fun playing around and finding stickers that fit. You will see me doing some rearranging in this video where I peel the stickers up and move them around. I was trying to get that kind of rainbow effect, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm creating this tip-in on a piece of vellum that I've cut to slightly smaller than A5 size and will be putting in my Hobonichi cousin. Usually when I'm making an A5 size tip-in, I use some bigger stickers, but this theme was particularly fun because it was a rainbow effect, so had multiple different colors. I was able to use my smaller stickers to kind of build that cohesive stripe, and you'll see me pulling out a lot of old stickers from Michael's sticker books and a lot of stickers that you probably recognize. I unfortunately can't name them all, that would take ages, but if you do have a specific question, you can always feel free to ask in the comments. I thought that I could answer some questions while I'm putting this tip-in together. I put a question box on Instagram to see if anyone had questions for me, and I got a couple. Some of them I have answered before, whether directly or indirectly, but I thought I'd touch on them again for any new subscribers, which, if you are new and if you've been here for a long time, thank you so much for watching. Just as a very brief introduction to start, my name is Ellie, I'm 35, and I live in Ontario, Canada. The first question that I was asked is, what is my job and how do I use my planners for work? I'm a teacher, more specifically a supply or substitute teacher. I really like the flexibility of supply teaching, so I have taken contracts, which means I will be with the same class for a certain amount of time or long term, but I also do daily supplying where I am covering for any teachers who are off for appointments, illness, whatever reasons. During these pandemic times, teaching has looked very different, and I haven't actually been teaching very much, and I'm hopeful that I will be able to get back to it in the 2021-2022 school year. The second part of the question asked, how do I use my planners for work? And that depends. If I'm doing daily supply teaching, I don't actually need to take any notes. So usually I will just use whatever planner I'm in, some form of bullet journal typically, and I will write down the school that I'm at, the class that I'm in for, and if I do have anything specific I want to remember about that day, then I will jot it in there as well. I also put down the school hours because it's nice to have that at a glance when I'm accepting new jobs. For any long-term contracts that I've had, so if I'm covering someone's maternity leave or anything like that, I haven't actually used a pre-made planner. I will still have my personal planner, and if there's anything I need to do, I will usually jot it in there, anything like staff meetings, parent calls, that'll go in my personal planner. But when it comes to actually planning out any lessons or curriculum, I have usually made my own template in a Word file and I keep it in a binder. That way I can make sure I can put in all the specific times, leave enough space, and also leave it at the school in case, I'm away and someone needs to replace me, or if I'm working with a teaching partner so that we both have access to it. So that's how planners and planning have gone for me in my teaching career. The next question asked, can you please talk about how you manage multiple journals simultaneously? And And the honest answer is inconsistently. But I can tell you what I have learned about myself and what works best for me. For me, the key to managing multiple journals and planners is having a routine. If I don't have a routine, I tend to get overwhelmed with all of these different systems. I don't know where to start, and so I simply don't start. What I like to do is create kind of ideal routines and plug my different journals and planners into them. So in the morning, I know I want to sit with my bullet journal. I want to do my morning pages. I want to write my affirmation. And in the evenings, I'd like to do memory keeping and journaling in my cousin. I'd like to do a budget update, any spending or anything like that. And I also want to close out my daily log in the bullet journal. The reason that I call these quote unquote ideal routines is because that's exactly what they are. In an ideal situation, if I'm not tired, if nothing comes up, if I'm feeling inspired, then I will get into all of my systems. But more often than not, life happens, and it's about having that intentional space for me on the days where that is something that I'm feeling. And for me, another huge piece of the multiple systems puzzle is expecting imperfection and incompletion. If you've seen my flip throughs, you know that I'm okay with blank pages, and that's because I have to be. If I'm not okay with blank pages, then I won't start a system, because it's very, very rare that I keep up, 100% with everything. Would I love to? Sure. Does it happen? Not usually. So I think being aware that, multiple systems are a lot of fun, but they are also time consuming. And, sometimes your time might be better spent or might need to be spent, or you might prefer to spend it elsewhere. So if you're doing multiple journals, I think it's important to give yourself grace. And if they do start feeling more like a chore than anything else, that's the point where I usually step back and reevaluate. I might try to combine a few systems or just let some sit aside for a month or so and go from there. It's supposed to be fun, so I do everything that I can to make it stay that way for me. A friend asked, have you ever tried the A6 Hobonichi Techo? I secretly want to see how you would use it. And the answer is yes, and the good news is I actually have a video where I flipped through my 2019 A6 Hobonichi Techo. The A6 Techo was actually the first Hobonichi product that I ever bought. I had been eyeing their site and reading so many different opinions, and somewhere on their site it said, if you were new and starting out, give the original a try, because they found it was really versatile and worked for many people. And at that point, my head was just spinning with seeing all of these amazing setups and options. So I said, okay, this is what they recommend. This is what I'm going to get. So I got the full year English version. I'm going to make a bold but true statement and say that 2019 A6 Hobonichi is my favorite journal of mine to date. It was just so much fun. So I started out that January using it as a planner / journal, but Hobonichi is a lovely, lovely rabbit hole, and I think by February I had ordered a week's to plan in. So the A6 became my journal. And in all of this Hobonichi research, I had seen memory keeping and I guess kind of art journaling at the same time. So I did a lot of exploration in the A6 size, a lot of tip-ins, which I had never done before, some watercoloring, and I just love how it came together. It was also the most consistent I have ever been in a journal before or since. I think I used it, almost every day until the last couple or 3 months of the year. But again, those blank pages are okay. That journal still brings me so much joy to flip through, and I love the A6 size. I could see myself going back to that. I'm in the cousin because I really, really wanted to try the weekly layout. And if I'm going to keep my affirmation and gratitude in there, I do like the A5 size, but A6 is wonderful. I had so much fun in it. And yeah, I've linked the video if you do want to check that flip through out. And I've had this last question before, but I will speak to it again. Someone asked, how did you come to choose living in a multi-generational home? If you've watched my videos before, you'll know that I talk about my brother, my parents, my grandma, my partner a lot. And yes, we do all live in the same house. I know that's not typical for North America, so I'm never surprised when people ask about it. There are a number of factors that have led us here. I guess the first is really luck and privilege. I'm incredibly lucky to have such a generous family and that we are all so close and get along so well. We don't step on each other's toes or anything like that. And, you know, I think we all truly enjoy being together. This is kind of a special time that, you know, I don't think any of us necessarily expected to look like this. But while we're together, we are definitely thankful for it and, again, just enjoying it. I've mentioned this before, but I do have an anxiety disorder, which at times has been really debilitating. So it's been incredibly helpful to be living with and surrounded by such a large support system. And of course, finances are a huge factor as well. And I'm incredibly grateful that this is an option for us. And that's it for the questions. Thanks so much for asking. I'm always happy to chat about my life and my planning style and routines, such as they are. And yeah, I'm just finishing up the dashboard on screen. I will say some of those Michael sticker books, particularly the Sweet Kawaii Designs and the Wonton in a Million ones, they have all of those tiny stickers, which are great for filling in any kind of bigger spaces that actually aren't big at all. Actually, I did have a question for you guys, or I would like your opinion, I guess. I know these videos aren't as popular as setups or flip-throughs, so the people who watch them, I imagine, are, you know, those of you who have been watching for some time. Again, thank you. And I'm just wondering what you think when creators ask you to like and subscribe at the end of the videos, or I guess anywhere in the videos, really. It's never been something that I've done, not for any particular reason, to be honest with you. When I started, I just felt like it was, you know, totally out of reach to ask anyone to like and subscribe. But I know that when I'm watching videos, if somebody says that at the end, I am way more likely to simply remember to. So I don't know. I also don't want it to feel too, I don't know, self-promotional maybe. Although I'll be honest, I don't think it feels that way when other people do it. There's just, I guess, a weird mental block when it's myself. Anyways, I would love your honest opinion, and if it honestly is something that you find annoying, I will not be offended. It's just something I'm thinking about trying out, and I would love to know what you think if you're comfortable sharing. I'm just going to let the music play in a moment. But I loved this rainbow theme. It was so fitting for Pride Month, and also it just is beautiful. I tend to go more monochromatic when left to my own devices, so I loved seeing all of these happy stickers coming together. have it, my June rainbow themed dashboard. I even found that kind of rainbow fern washi tape. I don't remember where it's from. I got it off Etsy years ago, but it was perfect here. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Please feel free to like and subscribe. How was that? And I'll see you next time.